3 years ago, we held the founding ceremonies for this temple, the opening ceremonies called Rakkei Hoyo. Yoshitani Roshi came from Japan, and that was us opening the doors. 1 year ago, people came from all over the world, and they said that this little temple is actually a mountain, and they established it as one. So this Sunday we'll hold some little ceremonies to mark both of those anniversaries. And reflect a little bit on what this is. So I've been reflecting on what this is. And one way that I did that was I went back 3 years ago to the days leading up to the Rakkei Hoyo. And I saw that on the Tuesday before those ceremonies, I gave a talk about this koan called Guishan's Gift. And when I read that again, I thought, we're not done with this. So I wanted to come back. Here it is. This is between Guishan and Yangshan. Guishan said to Yangshan, I have a lay student who gave me 3 rolls of silk to buy a temple bell in order to bestow happiness upon the people of the world. This is in a moment in history when silk was like currency. It was valuable, right? Yangshan said, when the lay student brought you the silk for the temple bell, what did you give him in return? Guishan hit the sitting platform 3 times. And he said, this was my offering. Yangshan said, if you offered him that, how will it benefit him? Guishan again hit the platform 3 times. And then he said, why is it that you dislike this? Yangshan said, it's not that I dislike it. It's just that the gift belongs to everyone. So, again, I talked about this 3 years ago. Something I really love about this is we have these devices in koans. Someone asks a question and then they get slapped in the face, or they get water thrown at them, or they get pointed over there, or whatever that is. And I don't really know the intentions of the characters here, but the way I read this, or the version of this that kind of gladdens my heart when I read it, is you have Yangshan asking a question in the way that we always ask these questions. And then Guishan answers the question in the way that koan people answer the question. He doesn't just answer the question, he hits the platform. And when Yangshan says, what's the point of that? Guishan does it again, as if this time he's going to get it. And instead of it being that kind of moment, Yangshan says, no, that's fine. I know what you're doing. I'm actually asking I'm asking a straightforward question. I'm not asking the obscure question. This is actually this can just be a conversation that we're having. Okay. Yangshan says, it's not that I dislike that. But this gift belongs to everyone. This gift of the silk and the gift of the bell. And Guishan says, but since you already know that it belongs to everyone, why are you asking me about repaying him? What are we doing? And Yangshan said, I just wondered how you understood that since it belonged to everyone, you could still make it a gift. And Guishan said, don't you see? The great master Bodhidharma who came to this land from India also brought a gift. We are always receiving gifts from others. In a way, Guishan is saying, he's saying a couple of things. One, he's saying, this was not a transaction. We come back to that word over and over and over again in this practice. This is not a transactional practice. We don't make a deal with Zazen to become a certain kind of person. We don't make a deal with Buddha. The whole origin story of Zen, in a way, is Emperor Wu going to Bodhidharma and saying, what do I get for all of my offerings? For building these temples and these stupas, and for establishing these monasteries, and giving all this stuff. And Bodhidharma said nothing. But what he didn't say was, somebody gets something. It's just that you didn't make a deal. So first, Guishan is saying this was not a transaction. This was a donation, and that's something else. But then he goes on to say, we're receiving gifts constantly, which is to say, this also was not special. This is what we're doing. We're in a position of receiving and then offering. That's all. Something comes to us like this, and we let go of it like this. We do this our whole lives. Nothing stays. So the silk comes, and the silk becomes a temple bell, and that temple bell becomes a sound, and that sound brings happiness into the world. None of that is Guishan. None of that is even the temples. Guishan understands that he's a custodian, just as we are. If you have ever managed the Zoom account for Thousand Harbors, or if you have ever rung the bells, or if you have ever been part of a committee, or if you have ever sat on the board, if you've ever opened these doors, you have been a custodian of this community. And by being a custodian of this community, you have been a custodian of the Dharma. And the Dharma is not something we make, it's something we receive. We open ourselves up to it so that we can open ourselves up to letting it go. If you blinked last year, you could miss it because all these people came for just a day. But they came from all over the world, understanding what Guishan is saying, carrying this gift, recognizing this place as a place where that gift could be shared, where it could be distributed. To put this place on that map of giving and receiving and gift. We are located there all of the time, and it never stops. I love this koan because it's such a straightforward reminder of all of that. But it also speaks to me in a different way. Because it brings to mind for me this kind of tension between us as custodians and the gift that we receive and the gift that we offer up. The silk in this story is something very pure. It's an object. It has no, it carries no karmic burden. The silk has never done anything wrong, and it can't. There's something perfect about it. And Guishan is expected to receive it and transform it into a bell. And that bell has all the same qualities. It's pure, it's stainless. It's perfect. And when you hit that bell, it makes a sound. And we can't possibly judge that sound. It's the ringing of a bell. We can't say that wasn't good enough. We can't say the bell failed. It's perfect. It's pure. This is what we are custodians of, and yet we as custodians are not so perfect. We are not so pure. We make mistakes. We don't always know what to do. And so the gift that comes through us, as it is coming through us, may look less perfect. Zazen is perfect. There's nothing to judge in Zazen. But today, I'm so tired. I was in Alaska this weekend and I traveled about 18 hours. I got rerouted and I had to go all over the continent yesterday. And today I did pretty well, but tonight I'm tired. And so if you were watching me, and I hope you weren't because that's not what you're supposed to do, but if you were watching me during Zazen, you saw I was kind of jerking. I'm trying to hold this posture and this practice that is perfect. This posture of a Buddha. And it is perfect. And my presentation of it looks a little bit like this, and then it comes back. I have the privilege in my role to talk about the Dharma a lot. And when I speak of the Dharma, of course, I'm trying to speak the Dharma. I'm trying to share something that's perfect. And it's also coming through me. It comes through my voice, which sometimes is strong and sometimes is not strong. And it comes through my words, which sometimes are clear and sometimes people say, "What did you mean by that?" And they say something back to me that I said, and I think, oh, I did the Dharma a disservice in that moment. I didn't diminish it because I can't. I don't have that power. But I can carry it clumsily. And I can make mistakes, as we all can. We carry the precepts into the world, and the precepts are perfect. And yet nothing we do while we're trying to bring those precepts into the world ends up seeming perfect. In fact, sometimes it's a mess. When I hit the bell, we have this curse that we hit the bell 3 times, which means that the 3rd time, it should be the same time lag as between the 1st time and the 2nd time. That's so hard. And so the 3rd one almost always holds this little imperfect edge. It's not satisfying in the way that it would be if it came at exactly the right time. We're left with something that's a little bit off. My body, speech, and mind get confused. And that can mean that the thing I'm receiving and the thing that I'm offering can look confused. When I read this koan, it takes me to a reminder that that will always be the case. But there is no way out of that. And that the other side, the perfect side, is also always the case. And that there is no way out of that. The trick, the key, is to make sure that whatever we're offering is something that we have received. The thing that we receive in the shape of that silk, in the shape of that bell, in the shape of that sound, in the shape of that teaching, is perfect. All we have to do is receive it and give it away. If the thing that I offer is something that I created, or it's something that I modified to be a little bit more like me, or a little bit more comfortable to me, if it's something that I rearranged so that it would be more comfortable for you, so that you would be more comfortable with me, and you would like me more and you would want to come back, that's no longer the thing that I receive. And so when I offer it, now I'm just offering me. And I've lost that thread. We keep ourselves honest in this tradition always by making sure that the thing we're giving away is something that was given to us. It sounds simple. It's not so simple. But I want to leave you with that and with the invitation to consider, when you offer the merit, when you bow in front of the altar, when you sit in zazen, do you understand the perfection of the thing that you are receiving? And the perfection of the thing that you are letting go of? If you don't, please look a little bit closer. I'll stop there.